Everyone, please stand as I introduce the Lake Worth Community High School Air Force Junior ROTC Honor Guard for the presentation of the colors.
Detail, forward, march. Right, face, freeze in, arms. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Colors, both. Right, face, forward, march.
They have been here for me since I got here, and I'm just so very proud to have them each and every time. What a wonderful job they do. I'm so grateful to them. I'm so grateful to you, all of you, the citizens of Lake Worth, for the privilege of being your mayor. I am amazed each and every day by the strength, the passion, and goodness of my fellow citizens. I'm thankful for the beauty, comfort, and the promise of this place we all call home. As your mayor, I have been blessed to serve with a dynamic group of fellow elected officials. I'd like to introduce to you your Vice Mayor, Scott Maxwell, your Vice Mayor Pro Tem, Andy Amoroso, and I guess unfortunately Commissioners Meyer and McCoy couldn't be here with us this evening. You know, it's not easy taking on the responsibilities representing all of the citizens. I greatly appreciate the hard work, dedication, and loyalty to our city that your fellow commissioners give to you and to your city. Thank you. I also want to recognize our staff, who are the lifeblood of the city organization. See, as the elected officials, we set the policy, we approve the budget, and provide direction. But the city staff actually carries out that direction, and they make things happen. In Lake Worth, we have seen a dramatic turnaround in our city government. Our staff genuinely cares about you, and that's a quality exemplified by their leader, our own city manager, Michael Bornstein. And of course, we've got our wonderful Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. Sheriff's Office, Palm Beach County Sheriff. You know, the casino ballroom that we're in tonight was recently voted in the top 5% for wedding venues by Wedding Wire. It also received the 2017 Couples Choice Award for wedding venues. That's a pretty big deal. And tonight, around our award-winning venue, the departments and our staff members are here to talk with you, here to answer questions, take suggestions, and let you know about some of the great things happening in our city. So we do hope after this portion of our evening, you do stop around and see them, and please ask them any questions that you might have. We've got a lot of great things happening in your city, and I want to thank you, staff, for all you do. We're so proud of you. Some of you may already know that I am the only woman mayor to be re-elected in our history. But did you know that I'm the Did you know that I'm the only mayor since 1967 to serve 3 consecutive terms? Yeah. Now, this is a tidbit of history, I assure you, wasn't going to get this statue on Lake Avenue or anything like that, trust me. But in Lakewood, it hadn't been done for 50 years. I bring this up because as I think about it, I'm reminded that in Lakewood, there are still so many achievements and opportunities for us as a city. With the right amount of effort, creativity, and drive, we can and we should set the bar higher. That mindset is actually in stark contrast to what I found when I was first elected mayor. The more I dug into the many problems facing our city, it was as if Lake Worth got distracted 30 or 40 years ago. You see, the city stopped progressing and started a process of coasting on the accomplishments of our founders and prior generations. Accomplishments we sometimes take for granted, like the wonderful historic buildings or our iconic parks, our cozy neighborhoods, and assets that we're the owners of, like our electric utilities. And let us not forget the road system. These bones of our city represented a lot of work, a lot of confidence, risk, and a long view of the future. To their credit, our past visionaries and leaders worked really hard and invested their lives and livelihoods to frame out this great city. Many of the physical things they left us that we live in and around has carried us through the past 100 years. Unfortunately, though, the city we inherited has suffered greatly from changes in the market as people's tastes shifted to larger homes on bigger lots and they moved out west. The retail businesses left our beautiful traditional downtown to move to malls and strip centers where they went out of business altogether. And there have been the ups and downs of the larger economy, which the city was ill-prepared to either take advantage of an upswing or combat against a downturn. The migration of people, money, and jobs from our city left a vacuum, and our poverty rates climbed, unemployment rose, and political bickering and animosity became the norm. Squalor, crime, and dare I say a sense of desperation followed. Lake Worth, that quaint little beach town, developed a not-so-nice reputation, and it was a slide that lasted over 30 years. Now, I don't want anyone to think that during that time the city didn't have some major projects that really were remarkable, such as the remake of Lake, Lucerne, Dixie Highway 17 years ago with FDOT, or finally acting on this beautiful casino building and having the county pay for our beautiful beach park. These are important, but make no mistake, these projects in and of themselves could not stop the overwhelming tide of downward trends. Undoing that slide and bringing this city back has been our goal, and it's been nothing short of challenging. Since becoming mayor, I've set a course along with my fellow commissioners to stop the decay, focus on the fundamentals, and no longer coast on latent value of what our predecessors did before us. Each year for the last 5 years, I have stood before you, it wasn't so pretty, reporting on the ugly statistics we face, or on projects and programs that demonstrate we're moving in the right direction and that Lake Worth is on its way. And again this year, I can tell you that we are improving, and yes indeed, we are getting better. This year though, I want to focus on a different kind of change that happened this past year. Something changed in our demeanor and attitudes. Something that says all that hard work of the past 5 years fixing the basic foundations of the city departments, rewriting the multitude of ordinances and rules, and improving our operations, and yes, finally addressing 30 years of benign neglect. Something's different. Lake Worth is just not the same. Can you sense it? Yeah. I can. And here's what it is. We have truly turned the corner. As a city, we now face in a new direction. We're developing a collective sense that there are many good things, record-breaking things happening, and we share an excitement of the future. Mayor, you ask? I like the feeling that we've turned the corner, but give me some proof so I can back up this feeling that we're no longer the old Lake Worth. If I had to pick one single example to make my point, it would be that on November 8th of last year, the voters were asked to vote on the neighborhood road bond. Nobody liked doing that, did they? This program is nothing less than a total reboot of the road system in our neighborhoods. A road system that past generations built and laid out for us. And an astounding 67% of the voters in a high turnout election voted for the $40 million bond. This is the largest single investment this city has ever made in itself. The largest single investment. It has set a record not just in size, but it's also set a record in the level of confidence we have in our beautiful home. We believe in the city of Lake Worth. Starting this spring, road work will begin across the city, and in the next 4 years, we will fix our roads. Goodbye to the potholes, and the dirt roads, the missing sidewalks, and the broken curbs. The neighborhood road program will improve home values, promote investment, and without a doubt will improve quality of life and instill pride in our community. And I want to make sure the extra point here. There are poor neighborhoods in our city, and I've said this before at other State of the City addresses. There are neighborhoods in our city that were ignored, not just for the past 30 years, but ever since we became a city. And you might remember, I took pictures of the conditions when I first became mayor, and I asked people where they thought those pictures were taken. And the answers were interesting. Guatemala, Panama, Chile, Haiti, and I would answer, nope, Lake Worth, east of 95, right next to the island of Palm Beach. Vice Mayor Maxwell, well, I know he's fought long and hard for new roads and improvements in these part of the city for years, and I think we'll all agree that people living should not be penalized with a different standard of basic infrastructure, like a road, based on their address. And we've righted that wrong. And let's face it, a home is usually a family's biggest investment, right? Well-maintained roads, sidewalks, fire hydrants help protect that investment and encourage others to fix up, to renovate, and build new homes on vacant lots. It's an important key to reinvigorating neighborhoods and bringing in new investment and residents. Well, together, folks, we did it, and we should all give ourselves a round of applause. Thank you. While the neighborhood road program's success is enough to make a point that the city's become a new entity, there are other signs to back up these positive feelings. And you know that I love to talk about my city, so let me move on to talk about our cutting-edge energy saving and efficiency measures. Now, these are the kind of projects that you read about in other big cities around the country, not Lake Worth. And that includes projects that promote renewable energy like solar. And yes, Lake Worth, the little city that can, is becoming a solar city in a big way. You might have heard about our solar field being installed at our old closed landfill on the south end of the city. What was once an environmental scar is being turned into a place of clean and renewable energy generation. And the 2-megawatt array will produce enough power to provide 3% of all the electric needs of the entire city of Lake Worth. It will reduce our carbon emission by 4 million pounds, which is equivalent to taking 400 cars off the road. And while the state grapples with all those ballot initiatives you saw last election, we are taking action and doing it. Now, you may not be able to afford a $30,000 solar installation on your roof, but in Lake Worth, you can still take pride in knowing that you, as the owners of your own electric utility, own solar energy produced right here and used right here. We already are looking at expanding the solar array to cover the entire landfill to produce up to 10 megawatts of electricity. That would boost our numbers to 15% of our total city demand to subsidize our grid. That's incredible. And no other municipality in Florida is producing that much electricity from a landfill site. I will keep you informed as this moves forward. Now, just a few weeks ago, most would have thought Lake Worth could have never pulled something like this off, right? Remember, just 5 years ago, there was a serious call to sell the electric utility. Now we're working hard to become leaders in clean energy. That, my fellow citizens, is a new Lake Worth which we can all be proud of, and a Lake Worth that leads. Other major energy efficiency efforts include the new LED street lighting project. Crews have been replacing all of our old inefficient glare bombs with light-emitting diodes with much improved energy efficiency, clarity, and coverage. They are dark sky compliant because they actually put the light where it's needed. They don't broadcast it upward. And our lights are also a color that's healthier for plants, animals, and humans. You see, light temperature is measured in degrees Kelvin. The existing standard for Florida Department of Transportation state roads is a bright white 4,500 degrees Kelvin. The blue light contained in 4,500 degrees is like having sunlight 24 hours a day. And studies have shown that too much blue light can be harmful and negatively affects your circadian sleep rhythms. I happen to know this because I'm personally affected by blue light, so I understood why color choice was important. So working with our performance contractor Siemens, their lighting experts, along with residents in our city, we've determined that 2,700 Kelvin was ideal for our city streets. State FDOT also gave us a waiver to use the lower number, and we are the first city to successfully get permission to use 2,700 Kelvin on state-owned roadways, which includes Federal, Lake, and Lucerne. The many missing, non-working, and hurricane-damaged lights have all been replaced or will be shortly. And they're also working with the Sheriff's Office. We identified where new lights would help improve safety and discourage crime, especially in alleyways, in our commercial areas, and city parking lots. Lake Worth, a city that used to have trouble keeping up, is leading by example. And I am proud to say that our story was quite impressive to some of the leaders of much bigger cities at the recent U.S. Conference of Mayors in Washington. We are leading big time. The new Lake Worth is a city that embraces the future. On that recent trip to Washington, I also met with the U.S. Department of Energy about our partnership that began last year with Southeastern National Marine Renewable Energy Center, or SNMREC, which we've come to just call SIMREC. It's at Florida Atlantic University. Well, SIMREC is one of 3 entities created through the Department of Energy to promote private sector development of 3 types of power generation from the ocean. Wave, tidal, and current-driven energy has tremendous promise to provide clean and consistent power from the ocean. Now, while the wave program in Hawaii and the tidal program in Washington State have advanced, SIMREC has the challenge of locating an offshore site where private companies, in partnership, could test designs and develop proof of concept. While they currently have a buoy off of Broward County, an actual mooring connected by cable to the grid does not exist, at least until now. Working together with SIMREC, Lake Worth would be a significant part of propelling this effort to develop ocean current-driven power as a viable source. Turns out that after studying and developing detailed computer modeling, the Gulf Stream is at its closest and in a most consistent strength offshore of, you guessed it, Lake Worth. As an oceanfront community, our electric utility could receive the power generated offshore. However, how do you get it from out there to here? Well, it turns out we also have an old abandoned sewer outfall that goes 3/4 of a mile offshore, and we've applied for a grant to study and engineer a way to pull a cable through it to connect to the test site. Here's where we take another former environmental scar, like our landfill, and make lemonade out of lemons. The grant is for $400,000 from the State of Florida Alternative Energy Program. SIMRIC has also filed for another $400,000 grant for the study to locate the mooring 3 miles out and develop the connection back to our cable. Not us, paying for it. Power will go into our grid and provide the companies who come here to test, with a viable customer, us, to prove that their concepts work. We may become the place in the world that makes ocean current power a reality. We're also looking to change state law to be able to create an efficient energy economic zone in the city to encourage the companies to locate here, yes, and bring us those jobs. In many ways, this is about clean renewable energy and economic development, coupled with increasing the availability of feeding renewable energy into our grid for our own city's use. We may be able to add power from the Gulf Stream to our solar and one day have the highest level of renewable energy of any city in the state or even the country. Yeah. This is a strategic approach the old Lake Worth would not have been able to imagine, much less make it happen. You want more proof we've turned the corner as a city? You want it? When I first became mayor, I was called by the property appraiser's office asking why we had not had any major commercial projects filed. You know, new buildings, major renovations and additions triggered their review to revalue commercial properties, so the increased value is reflected on their tax rolls. Shockingly, nothing happened between 2009 and 2013 that met their criteria. Well, that's the old Lake Worth. Since then, we've had over $100 million in completed projects, with another $140 million queuing up to start. While confidence in the market plays a large part, the hard work of fixing our land development regulations is finally paying off. You can look around our city and see the renovations, the new buildings. There's also a confidence in our housing stock, and the efforts by our citizen-initiated groups like the Cottages of Lake Worth reflects that trend. The unique small cottages that are concentrated in our city are an asset and an integral part of our identity. Their renovation and refurbishment is adding value and strengthening our neighborhoods. I want to recognize the Cottages folks here tonight. Thank you. You've helped us believe in ourselves and given us a reason to believe we are in a new and exciting time in our history. Please stand up if you work on the Cottages project. Our challenges in Lake Worth, yes, we have them. No rose-colored glasses. Our challenges are many, and nothing is more daunting than the heroin epidemic. It is ravaging lives across our nation, and it is no secret that we're seeing it play out on our streets. In fact, just a week and a half ago, the fiancé of my cousin died of a heroin overdose. I had just seen it in the hallways. As our Vice Mayor, Pro Tem Andy Amoroso knows, he's our point person who's representing the city on the heroin task force. And we are so fortunate to have the fine men and women of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office here to protect us as we go through these changes. However, since contracting with the Sheriff's Office back in 2011, we have not added a single deputy to the ranks. The old Lake Worth would consider dumping the Sheriff's Office contract, but not expanding the number of deputies. Well, last year, the Commission recognized the need, and we were able to secure 5 additional deputies to help address in the long run, as the municipalities, state, and federal governments figure out how to stem the flow of money to unscrupulous treatment centers and sober homes, we will continue to be involved on all levels. The city is also monitoring our neighbors, such as Delray, who's been on the legal forefront, Boca Raton, some of which have suffered lawsuits and difficulties of which we hope to avoid. In the end, it will be many things, not just one that curtails and reduces the effects of the epidemic. And I'm thankful PBSO now has more capabilities to deal with the crime side of that equation. We are committed to pressing this issue on the state and federal level. We did so last week in Washington, and we will not stop until we solve this problem. I want you to appreciate, as the city's reputation has improved, people are finally discovering or rediscovering Lake Worth. A big vote of confidence is seen in our festivals, in our events that are flourishing, and even more are coming here. We are so excited about the Garlic Festival. Yes, they moved from Delray Beach to John Prince Park. I can smell all that wonderful garlicky success, and you can too. I want to invite everyone to come out and support them on February 10th, 11th, and 12th. The organizers are a well-established group who appreciates what we have here in Lake Worth and the surrounding areas. And their involvement with our businesses already and neighborhood groups is greatly appreciated, and I know it will be a huge success. Another festival that's coming back to Lake Worth is the Midnight Sun Festival. This is the reestablishment of what used to be the Fin Fest, and it celebrates the Finnish culture and its relationship and impacts right here in our beautiful city of Lake Worth. You know, I've been working with staff and encouraging the Finnish community on this effort for the past several years, and I am proud to come through on a promise that I made to them to bring this event home.